How to practice English. Alex often pondered how to practice English. The desire to communicate globally burned brightly within, yet a nagging apprehension always held him back. He felt overwhelmed by the sheer volume of information available, wondering how to learn English effectively. The journey seemed daunting, a colossal mountain he wasn't sure he could scale alone. Every step felt uncertain. The biggest hurdle wasn't the grammar books or vocabulary lists, it was the pervasive fear of speaking. "Why I always make mistakes," was a constant echo in his mind, a relentless voice of self-criticism. This crippling self-doubt prevented him from even whispering a single English phrase. He erroneously believed perfect pronunciation was a prerequisite from day one. He avidly watched countless videos of fluent native speakers, admiring how people speak English with such apparent effortlessness. Their fluid conversations seemed like a natural, graceful dance of words he could only wistfully dream of joining. He observed how other people talk in English, noticing their diverse accents, feeling increasingly intimidated by their perceived flawless command. Sometimes, a sly, insidious voice inside whispered, "Why you should not learn English." It cunningly argued that the task was simply too hard, or perhaps too late to start, or even completely unnecessary for his current life circumstances. This discouraging thought attempted to convince him that the immense effort wasn't worth the inevitable frustration. Yet, deep down, Alex instinctively knew the profound rewards of mastering English profoundly outweighed any fleeting challenges. He intrinsically understood why you should practice speaking was absolutely paramount to true fluency. Real communication, the ability to genuinely connect with diverse global cultures, and unlocking new opportunities demanded active, fearless participation, not just passive consumption. One serendipitous evening, a brilliantly simple idea suddenly sparked within his mind: start talking at home. He realized, with surprising clarity, that he didn't need an immediate, critical audience. His quiet room could effortlessly become his private, judgment-free linguistic stage. This profound shift in perspective was utterly revolutionary for his learning journey. The immense pressure surrounding public performance diminished significantly when he was merely speaking to himself, entirely free from any looming fear of immediate judgment or embarrassing correction. He began by narrating his daily routine aloud, describing mundane objects around his room in simple English sentences. It felt surprisingly liberating and empowering. He consciously decided to label items in his house, speaking their English names out loud, often multiple times. "This is a chair," he'd declare confidently. "This is a book." He diligently repeated common phrases he heard in movies, mimicking the intonation and rhythm of native speakers, without worrying about perfection. This solitary practice session became his safe haven, a sanctuary where mistakes were not failures but invaluable learning opportunities. He stumbled over words, mispronounced others, and often forgot simple vocabulary, yet the absence of external criticism allowed him to persist. This freedom truly transformed his learning approach. Gradually, his internal monologue began shifting from his native tongue to English. He'd find himself thinking in English, formulating sentences, and even entire arguments. This subtle yet significant change indicated a deeper level of immersion and cognitive processing was actively taking place within his mind. He started incorporating music and podcasts into his daily routine, actively listening to different accents and conversational styles. He understood that good speaking skills were inextricably linked to strong listening comprehension. The more he listened, the better he could mimic natural speech patterns and inflections effectively. How to talk in English was no longer a philosophical question but a practical, daily endeavor. He recorded himself speaking on his phone, then played it back, cringing slightly but learning invaluable lessons from his own recordings, identifying areas for clear improvement in his pronunciation and fluidity. His initial concern, "Why I always make mistakes," began to wane as he understood the fundamental role errors play in genuine language acquisition. Mistakes were not signs of failure, they were concrete evidence of effort and active engagement in the challenging learning process. Every error became a stepping stone. He learned that native speakers also make mistakes, albeit different ones. This realization liberated him further, diminishing the unrealistic expectation of perfection he had initially placed upon himself. The goal shifted from flawless speech to effective, understandable communication, which felt much more attainable. Alex discovered online language exchange partners, initially communicating through text, then gradually moving to voice messages. The anonymity of online interactions provided a comfortable bridge to real-time speaking. He found that sharing simple life stories broke down many mental barriers. The transition from talking to himself to talking with others, even online, was a significant leap. He applied the techniques learned from How to Practice English at Home to these new conversations. He noticed his responses becoming quicker, more natural, less strained and hesitant. He observed closely how people speak English in these informal settings, picking up colloquialisms and natural phrasing that textbooks often overlooked. It was learning language in its true, living form, not just as a set of static grammatical rules. This organic learning felt very empowering. He specifically sought out opportunities to hear how other people talk in English, from diverse backgrounds, understanding the global nature of the language. This exposure broadened his understanding of different accents and speech rhythms, making him a more adaptable and confident listener and speaker. The internal voice that questioned why you should not learn English became weaker, replaced by a growing conviction. He saw the tangible progress he was making, the expanding world opening up to him through his newfound linguistic abilities. The benefits far outweighed the initial struggles. He actively sought out specific scenarios for practicing how to talk in English in real-life, low-stakes situations. Ordering coffee, asking for directions, or making small talk with a cashier became mini-missions for linguistic practice, transforming mundane tasks into exciting learning opportunities. Each successful interaction, no matter how brief or simple, bolstered his confidence immensely. He realized that confidence wasn't a prerequisite for speaking, it was a wonderful outcome of consistent, brave speaking practice. Every small victory fueled his desire to try even more. Alex understood why you should practice speaking every single day. Consistency was the silent, powerful engine driving his progress forward. Even short bursts of conversation, even a few minutes of self-talk, contributed significantly to building fluency and reducing hesitation effectively. He diversified his practice methods, moving beyond just self-talk to engaging with English media more actively. He tried to summarize movie plots aloud, or discuss news articles with his reflection, simulating dynamic conversations and reinforcing new vocabulary in context. He wasn't just learning words, he was learning to think and express himself directly in English. This cognitive shift marked a profound advancement in his journey, moving him away from mental translation and towards genuine, spontaneous communication. His thoughts flowed more freely. The initial agonizing question, how to learn English, had transformed into a dynamic, personalized journey. He was no longer passively seeking answers but actively creating his own pathway to fluency, adapting strategies that genuinely worked best for his individual learning style. He recognized that everyone's journey is unique, and there isn't one single, how to learn English, magic formula. It involved a blend of listening, reading, writing, and most importantly, consistent, courageous speaking practice. Finding his own rhythm was crucial for sustained progress. The concept of "start talking at home" evolved into "start talking anywhere." His confidence grew to the point where he no longer confined his practice to his room, embracing any opportunity for real-world interaction, however brief or seemingly insignificant. He made peace with the occasional misstep, understanding that, "why I always make mistakes," was a normal part of the human learning process. Mistakes were merely feedback, gentle nudges guiding him towards greater accuracy and more natural expression, not reasons for despair. Observing how people speak English in professional settings, he began to emulate their formal tones and specific vocabulary, broadening his linguistic repertoire beyond casual conversations. This active observation improved his adaptability across different communication contexts significantly. He actively engaged in online forums and communities where, how other people talk in English, about shared interests, making the learning process more enjoyable and less like a chore. He found that passion for a subject fueled his desire to communicate effectively. The lingering doubt from "why you should not learn English" was now completely extinguished. The tangible benefits, the expanded worldview, and the genuine joy of connecting with new people far outweighed any fleeting insecurities or perceived difficulties from before. He mastered various techniques for how to talk in English fluently and confidently, including pausing to gather thoughts, using filler words naturally, and rephrasing sentences for clarity. These strategies made his conversations smoother, less awkward, and more engaging overall. Alex became a firm believer in the power of continuous learning, recognizing that even fluent speakers are always refining their language skills. The journey of language acquisition is truly lifelong, filled with endless opportunities for growth and deeper understanding. He inspired his friends, sharing his journey and practical advice on how to practice English consistently and effectively. He emphasized that the first step, often the hardest, is simply starting to speak, even if only to oneself, without judgment. His advice centered on making English a part of daily life, transforming passive consumption into active participation. Whether it was commenting on social media posts in English or writing shopping lists, every little interaction counted meaningfully towards progress. He encouraged others struggling with how to learn English to set realistic, achievable goals. Small, consistent efforts accumulate into significant progress over time. Celebrating minor victories keeps motivation high, preventing burnout and fostering sustained engagement. The initial fear of, "Why I always make mistakes," was replaced by a proactive mindset, "How can I learn from this mistake?" He viewed errors as valuable data points, guiding him towards more accurate and nuanced expression in his ongoing linguistic development. He taught that one could learn immensely from simply listening to how people speak English in diverse contexts, from formal interviews to casual street conversations. Observing different registers and tones helps adapt one's own speech appropriately. He emphasized the importance of observing how other people talk in English in various media, like documentaries and news broadcasts. This exposed learners to a wider range of vocabulary and sentence structures, enhancing their overall comprehension and production skills. His transformation proved that the negative voice, "Why you should not learn English," was merely a mental barrier. Overcoming it required courage, persistence, and a belief in one's own capabilities, paving the way for profound personal growth and achievement. Alex now confidently explained how to talk in English to newcomers, sharing his journey from hesitant beginner to proficient speaker. He stressed that consistency trumps intensity, and that regular, even short, practice sessions yield the best long-term results consistently. He actively sought out new challenges, volunteering for tasks that required him to speak English, pushing his comfort zone incrementally. This proactive approach accelerated his learning dramatically, solidifying his command of the language in real-world situations. His experiences powerfully demonstrated why you should practice speaking even when you feel unprepared or shy. The act of speaking itself builds the confidence and fluency necessary for future success, turning initial apprehension into eventual mastery. He encouraged learners to find their own personal why to learn English, a powerful motivation that would sustain them through challenges. Whether it was for travel, career, or personal connection, a clear purpose makes the journey purposeful. Alex's journey underscored that how to practice English is not a static method but a dynamic process of experimentation and adaptation. What works for one person might not work for another, necessitating individual exploration and discovery. He learned the value of celebrating small milestones, acknowledging every new word learned, every successful conversation, and every moment of clarity. These little triumphs fueled his motivation and reinforced his belief in his progress over time. His story became a testament to the power of self-belief and perseverance in language learning. He proved that anyone, regardless of their starting point, can achieve fluency by consistently applying effective strategies and maintaining a positive attitude. He now mentors others, sharing insights on how to learn English efficiently and joyfully. He advocates for an immersive, playful approach, where learning feels less like a task and more like an exciting exploration of a new world. He often reminds people that the best way to get over why I always make mistakes is to simply embrace them. Errors are invaluable data points that highlight areas needing more attention, serving as effective guides for focused improvement. He now actively participates in international conferences, demonstrating how people speak English professionally and engaging confidently with global peers. His initial struggles are a distant memory, replaced by a profound sense of accomplishment and capability. His ability to understand how other people talk in English, from various global regions now allows him to navigate complex conversations effortlessly, building bridges across cultures and fostering genuine understanding among diverse individuals and groups. He uses his story to counter the insidious notion of why you should not learn English, emphasizing the immense personal and professional enrichment that comes with mastering a new language. The investment of time and effort truly pays dividends. He inspires countless individuals, showing them how to talk in English not as a daunting academic pursuit, but as an accessible skill cultivated through consistent effort and a willingness to step outside one's comfort zone repeatedly and courageously. Alex's life is now richer, his world infinitely larger, all thanks to his unwavering commitment to learning English. He continues to learn, always seeking new ways to refine his skills and expand his linguistic horizons even further, embracing the journey. His message resonates: start small, be consistent, and don't fear mistakes. Why you should practice speaking is clear: it's the direct path to fluency, unlocking a world of opportunity and connection. Begin your journey today, one word at a time.